Ellavarku namaskara. First of all, greetings to everyone on Haifa Day. I am honored to be given this opportunity to speak to you on this occasion. And the organizers were gracious enough to tell me that I can choose the topic that I want to speak on. So therefore, my deep felt gratitude to the organizers of today's event. I would like to speak to you briefly on Haifa, the Battle of Haifa, and the importance of combat leadership. Recently, the Indian Army went for rescue operations in Wayanad. And once we came back, one of the industrial leaders in Karnataka, who was with me in a social evening, he said, "General, how the Indian Army performed so well and rescued so many people in Wayanad?" I told him, "Sir, this is not just one day event. The Indian Army performs similarly everywhere across the country. Some of the events are publicized, many are not. But you would not have heard of an occasion when the Indian Army failed." When I say the Army, please pardon me, it means the armed forces, but by nature I will say the Army. But there would be no occasion when the Indian Army failed. So the gentleman asked me, "General, why is it that the Indian Army never fails? How is it that the Indian Army always performs?" I told him there are multiple reasons for it. I can speak to you for the entire day on it. But three short reasons are the leadership, which is exemplary, the men, and the ethos. These three combined wire the Indian Army not to fail. Therefore, a couple of points about why the Indian Army's combat leadership is so good. If you see, there is a services selection board in Bangalore where we select officers to lead the Indian Armed Forces. The only profession in India, or maybe perhaps the world, where a 5-day interview is done to select people to join the armed forces is to the Army or Navy or the Air Force. The rest of the places where even it is not to reduce the importance of other professions, but certain qualities are very important for leadership in the armed forces. Therefore, it is important that we get into the mind of every person who wants to join the Army. The Indian Army has fought a number of wars. We were in counterinsurgency operations. We have proved our mettle in various wars. One of the most important aspects that you will find is that the officers of the Indian Army always lead from the front. You have realized that in the Battle of Haifa, Major Dalpat Singh was killed in action. He was leading the charge when he was shot from his horseback. This quality, recently in the last couple of years, I was asked to carry out a study in my previous appointment as to why we are losing so many officers in the valley in counterinsurgency operations. When we went into the details, it was found that it is very difficult to stop a young officer from saying, "I will lead the charge, I will lead the assault, I will be the one who goes first." When I said, it may not be the best idea, or when the study, because logic says that the commander should not be the first one to lead. But in many cases, combat leadership does not work on logic. It works on leadership and it works on inspiring your men to follow you. In many of our battles, in Operation Vijay, in 1971 Ops, you would have found that the number of casualties that the officers suffered are much more in proportion to the other ranks. This is because of the ethos of Indian Army, which says always lead by example, lead from front. I spoke about selection of leaders. You would have heard of the adage that 1,000 sheep led by a lion is more effective than 1,000 lions led by a sheep. In the Indian Army, I can proudly say it is 1,000 lions led by a lion. So therefore, the reason for our success is this kind of leadership. The second aspect that I would like to speak about is the kind of training and physical and mental robustness that our leaders possess. To become a leader in the Indian Army is not easy. I went through a training of almost 13 years, including my tenure in Sainik School, to join the army and to don the uniform or to wear ranks. But minimum of, most of our officers are trained for almost 3 to 5 years before they join, and they are physically and mentally robust to take on this tough task. And even after you don the uniform, after you are a leader, you continue your training, you continue to be prepared for combat, which is a lifelong activity. Mental robustness is even more important because you see death at very close quarters. And once you see death, to remain in your senses, to be rational and to act even in the midst of death and destruction around you is more important, and that is again something that our leaders are blessed with. Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw said that if you have to be a fool, please do so quickly. What he meant was, if you have to take a decision, take the decision fast. And I quote him when he said that there are two things that stop a person from taking a quick decision, and that is lack of confidence or fear of failure. And it is our combat leaders who have to take decisions at short notice, under difficult conditions, and they are never struck down by fear of failure. In most of the time, when they decide to take positive action, like the action that was happened in Haifa, when against advice they carried out the charge, it is always for the hope of success. In combat, it is important to have trust, because when you are putting your life on the line and you are moving into assault, you trust the person who is next to you to be there, to be with you. You trust the fire support to be available. And when someone tells you that you please go and I will cover your back, you trust him to cover your back. So this trust is very important. And this trust does not come automatically. I cannot trust a person whom I see on the street without knowing him. So this trust is built during peacetime by our regiments, who, in fact, someone who joins any of the combat units, join the unit and commands that unit after 17 or 18 years in the same unit. People know each other very well, and you have to earn the trust as an officer, as a leader. You have to earn the trust of your men during peacetime, in training and in operations. So once that is there, then the men will trust you to follow a leader into combat, and they will trust you to give up their life also in terms of during battle. The final quality that I would like to say that Indian Army combat leaders possess is empathy. I had the opportunity of going to the International Red Cross organization in Geneva, and they told me, the Battle of Solferino happened, and then we came out with rules of warfare, which is called the Geneva Convention. And Battle of Solferino, if you are not aware, it happened in 1859, and they were very proud of the fact that they came out with rules of warfare in 1859. I told them, these rules of warfare that you talk about, which you took out in 1859, is the same as the rules of warfare that we have for centuries in our country. So therefore, an empathetic leader is to see, we do not go into battle because we enjoy killing. We do not go into battle because we like gore or bloodshed. We go into battle to avoid bloodshed. So therefore, empathy towards the people whom you lead and importance of their lives is very important to an Indian Army leader. You would have seen example in the Kargil war, when our men, our officers who were captured by the Pakistani forces were tortured with hardly any sympathy or empathy. Whereas the Indian Army repatriated even the dead of Pakistan, back to Pakistan, and when they refused to take them back, we even gave them decent burial in our own country as per the religious rites. This is the kind of empathy that Indian Army officers possess, and this is a combat leadership quality that is rare. Today we find various battles across the world when empathy is not a factor, when human lives do not matter, when civilians are killed at will. However, you will hardly find an occasion when the Indian Army has been found wanting in this regard. In fact, many of our officers and men have given up their lives in battle to save human property or lives. So thus, I would like to reiterate at the end that the Indian Army prides it on the combat leadership that we have, and which is one of the battle winning factors that we take pride in. I wish you once again a very happy and Haifa Day, and I hope that we continue glorifying the battles of yore. Wish you all the very best. I thank the organizers for organizing a wonderful event today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We'd like to call upon the stage PC Deshmukh sir to honor our respected Matthew sir. Please resume. Thank you so much. And also I would like to mention that we have our Mysore Lancer, Chandar Rao Jadhav, grandson of the Chandar Rao Jadhav, Mysore Lancer. His name is Ranav Kshersagar. He is performing in many, and he acted in many Kannada movies, and he is one of the great actors who received our Chittar Awards, and we heartily welcomes you, and we are proud for our Mysore Lancer. A big round of applause for him. ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸೇನಾ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಗೌರವಿಸೋಣ. ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಜೋಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಸರ್. ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಜೋಶ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್. ಹಾಗೂ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೋರ್ವ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ನೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸಪ್ತಗಿರಿ ಗೌಡ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ನೀಡುವಂತಹ ಈ ಕಿರುಕಾಣಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸ